y'all, Mrs. E here, and today we are gonna take a look-see at the third Overtime comic. I'm really excited about this. I feel like this comic answered a lot of questions that I had, kind of in relation to the first two comics that we reviewed, but also it left me with a lot of questions and a lot of head scratching, and you will definitely see that today in this video. I'm not sure if the publishers maybe missed something, or the editors missed something, or it's just me expecting too much. I don't know. Y'all are gonna see it. I'm really excited. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. Turn those notifications way on. We also, I've also reviewed the first two Overtime comics, and they will be linked below in the description. And also, if y'all missed it, Monday, Apex Legends Twitter dropped a new Horizon comic that we also reviewed. And I also was able to finish up the Bloodhound storyline quest that we had in game. So I'm just really excited. It's just so much lore in so short of time, and it's fantastic, and I love it. It's totally making my day. But all right, y'all, we are gonna go ahead and jump into the comic. Thank y'all. All right, so Apex Legends Overtime comic number 3. This one does start off just a hair different than the other two. Initially, the first two comics, we kind of started off seeing people celebrating. This comic actually starts off, we see two dropships coming in, one of them talking to air traffic control, saying that Willis, and I'm guessing this is the boss Willis that we heard about in the first two comics, was on board, so they needed to take priority landing, where air traffic control is like, no, the Legends were here first, and they take priority landing. We then see Rampart making a sour face, and then we also see Gibraltar and Bangalore, who I'm pretty sure, from guessing from the first two comics, we're still pretty sure that they're the ones that won the game. They're kind of looking at them, she's kind of looking at them while they're celebrating their win. The next panel, we see Wattson talking to a tiny human, and it's really, really adorable because Watson's like, so who's your favorite legend? And the tiny human's like, oh, well, you're my second favorite legend. And Watson's like, oh, who's your first? She's like, Rampart, because she got the guns. And I'm like, yeah, girl. Yep, that'd be me too. But Wattson is super sweet about it, and she's just like, you know, still signing autographs with the tiny human and happy and everything. And she's telling Rampart, like, hey, come on over, let's get a picture together. We also see Wattson asking Rampart, like, hey, what's going on? Why y'all grouchy-faced? To which Rampart replies, nothing's going on. Tiny note here. So this part, it kind of gets me, I've started scratching my head, and this is literally like page 3 of the comic. It was just odd. The way that they worded the comic, the way that the speech is being worded here, this kind of made me had a few questions, but we're going to review it anyways because that's what we're doing. So we notice Wattson like looking at Caustic, and Rampart makes the comment to her, is our resident cop keeping tabs on everyone or just certain people? Next we see someone giving Caustic a bag, and it's got like dripping green ooze out of it. Wattson says that she has to keep an eye on Caustic, and Rampart kind of looks over at the bag that Caustic has, and she's like, is that, it's a B word that YouTube does not find family-friendly, advertiser-friendly. We're gonna call it strawberry jelly. She's wondering if there's strawberry jelly coming out of the bag, but for the record, I've never once in my life seen green strawberry jelly unless it was coming out of an alien, in an alien movie. We then get to stick with Rampart and Wattson as they decide to follow Caustic, because, you know, that's a great idea. Always, let's follow the crazy scientist man, but okay. They see him go into a building that is, like, falling apart, and it's dirty looking. It's dirty and it's nasty, and they watch him go in. Wattson is about to go up and, like, knock on the door, and Rampart's like, yo, I need to teach you to stalk. Because look, that's exactly what we want to teach Wattson how to do, is to stalk people. So they climb over like the roof and some walls and some stairs, and y'all, they come up to none other than our now bot loving bouncer. Yes, from the first or from the second comic. I don't remember if he was in the first comic. The second comic, our bot-loving bouncer that Doc healed. He's like, yeah, I love bots, and let's path you right on. Yeah, that guy. They run into him. He asks Rampart if she's there for the show, and she's like, nah, Bopper, I'm just here to cut through. And y'all, we have a name for this man. His name is Bopper. I'm really excited. Also, Rip Bopper, or possibly because he kind of got knocked out in the second comic. We then watch Rampart and Wattson continue kind of like walking around, cutting behind buildings and whatnot. Rampart actually asked Wattson a really, really good question, I felt like, and she's like, well, so why don't you just cut Caustic out of your life? Like, he's clearly toxic. You need to cut it off and get rid of it. To which Wattson replies that she can't cut him out. She has to keep tabs on him because she knows she can't trust him. Now, in the next panel, we cut to a scene of Caustic making notes while looking at experiments that he's been performing on prowlers. Yes, prowlers. The prowlers that we've been wondering what the heck, like where these things came from, the first two comics. Yes, Caustic is doing experiments on prowlers. He makes a comment that they're hungry and that they have not been fed in over 142 hours, which by scientific, if we do the math, I did the math, 5.91 days, Earth days. We're not on Earth, we're on Solus right now, but still, five and a half, almost 6 days. He has not fed the prowlers. Yes, they're angry. Yes, they're mad face at him. Are you for real? How is this scientific? Wait, how? In what world is starving an animal a scientific Caustic? He needs something, y'all. So we see Wattson kind of like hanging back, like hiding and looking into them. So somehow they got at this building without being detected, which is Rampart. She's just got skills like that. But Wattson noticed, and she's got this like horrified look on her face. Now we hit the ish hitting the fan part, y'all. And we have this every comic. But this is also some parts that had me scratching my head. Either the editors weren't paying attention, or the people that wrote it just don't care. So let's jump into that. We see Wattson and Ramparts just sneaking around. Except, of course, the hungry prowlers start barking at Wattson. Apparently they're like dogs. They bark. Not something I noticed previously, but okay. Caustic turns around with his hammer, and he's like, ooh, are you spying on me, Miss Paquette? Who sent you? And Wattson's like, well, I'm just here because I need help with some math equations. And Caustic's like, really? Why not ask the engineer? This is, I'm not gonna lie, this is the part that seriously had me go, what? Okay. Wattson then replies, so are you, mate? Wattson's French. In what world has she ever called anyone mate? I think Rampart should have said this, but they definitely have Wattson's photo, and it's coming, the speech bubble is coming from Wattson, not anywhere else. We appears in a freaky pod. Again, this is a Rampart quote. I have no idea why they've got Wattson saying this. I'm not a gatekeeper. I just really wish that they had put just a little time into the editing, maybe. Just a little. I feel like anyone that likes Apex Legends and loves Apex, you don't even have to love Apex. You just have to know it, some of the lore to know that Wattson is French, and I don't believe the French. Does anybody know anybody French that we can reach out to and ask them, do they use mate on the regular? Because I've only ever heard people from the UK and from parts of India say mate. I have never once in my life heard a French person call a friend a mate. Australia, they do it in Australia too. Yeah, anywho. Okay, moving on. Next, we see a fight break out in between Caustic and Wattson and Rampart. In all the commotion, guess what happens? If you guessed that the Prowlers got let out, you are correct. Yeah, they got let out. The Prowlers that haven't eaten in 6 days are now running amok. The Prowlers then break down the wall with Rampart and Wattson kind of escaping through the wall as Caustic tries to kind of like defend himself against the hungry Prowlers, which I'll be 100% honest, if I was those Prowlers and he was the only face that I had seen for over 6 days and he had not fed me and he had put me in a cage, y'all better believe I'm not trying to break out through a door. I'm trying to take out Toxic Daddy. But I am not a Prowler, so We then see the Prowler Stampede, that we have been curious as to where it came from since comic number 1. Here's where the Prowler Stampede came from. We also, I kind of like the page that they did, partially. So they have the page with the Prowler Stampede, and then they have Bopper, the bouncer, noticing the Prowler. Then you have the bad guys and Pathy, the bad guys that were attacking Pathfinder, yeah, remember that? When he's like, oh, my sensors are indicating like a seismic activity. They notice the Prowler Stampede, or they don't notice the Stampede, but they notice the ground rumbling from it, yeah? And now here's the part that also makes me think that these are not edited very well. So we see Crypto and Mirage walking away next to each other. They're walking past a Prowler, which makes no sense because it's the scene from the beginning of comic 1 where Crypto is asking Mirage just to go there and have his back. And Mirage is saying like, yeah, dude, I'm the best choice to have your back. That did not happen. That's not the correct order. In the first comic, I feel, oh my gosh, I'm totally nerding out on this show. In the first comic, when we go back to that, they are leaving like the celebration initially. And Crypto is saying like, you know, Mirage is practically begging to go along because, you know, they've both lost the match. Losers can't be by themselves. Come on, let's hang out together. And Crypto's like, well, I got a job to do. And Mirage is like, it's cool, I got your back, dude. Like, I'll go with you. We can be friends and hang out together. And the Stampede, the Prowler Stampede does not happen until later in that comic when they are trying to get away from Revenant with the dude with the briefcase. Dude with the briefcase is not included in that little part at all. They just didn't edit, or they just didn't review. I genuinely don't know, but it's genuinely bothering me. I'm just, little things. Come on, y'all. And then we also see someone who I believe to be Revenant, like standing on top of a building, yelling, "You can't get away from me." And that would make sense for the Prowler Stampede. That part makes perfect sense. So it's like they just threw an extra little panel in there that didn't need to be there, because they could have done it with the 3 panels and been fine. But instead of doing it with 3 panels, they added the third one that was just completely wrong. Anywho, okay, moving on. So, moving on, we actually get new panels, new story time. We see champagne glasses clinking, and Bangalore, Gibraltar, and Loba. Yes, Loba, with the long nails, Loba. Not who I initially thought won the game. I initially thought that it was Wraith, Gibby, and Bangalore. That's how like the first comic kind of looked. However, Wraith hasn't made an appearance as of right now. She's only been on like the first page of like the first 2 comics, so she's not in this one at all. So now Loba's here all of a sudden as the winner. Which, you know, I'm sure Loba could win if a Gibraltar and a Bangalore carried her. Don't hate me, Loba mains. Bangalore is making a comment about how she feels like she's like she's not dressed appropriately to be where they are, and Loba is saying, oh no, you're gorgeous, I'm gorgeous, we're legends, we're the best. So clearly this all happened before the season 10 Splitsville, where they were officially just friends. Bangalore is looking out the window saying, yeah, maybe I do look good. And we kind of see, like in the comics, you kind of tell that her eyes are on something else. There's a man outside wearing a jacket. Y'all remember me being curious about where this jacket came in the second comic? Yeah, this is the jacket, y'all. She all of a sudden just stops everything that she's saying, and she's like, it can't be. She jumps up from the table, like spilling the champagne, like, oh no, and she starts like running out the door with Gibby and Loba following her, like, yo, what's going on? Like, why are we running? So we see Bangalore running after this random man. Gibraltar's like yelling at her, like, hey, wait, like, stop. And she's like, nope, I need this, this cannot wait, I need that jacket. Bing tells Loba and Gibby basically that that jacket is her blood and that it belongs to her brother Jackson. Yeah, that Jackson, the missing Jackson, the Jackson that we've been getting hints and teases of, but not actually like knowing where Jackson is. She tackles the man to the floor, trying to basically like rip the jacket off of him, and she's like, where did you get this from? And he's like, well, I got it at the hospital. They were gonna cut it off the guy anyways, so I just kind of, you know, I just took it from him. And Bangalore says, well, that's fine, I'll take it from you and I'll go give it back to him. And asks if it, like, is that why you were running? Like, you stole this jacket, so that's why you're running right now? And he's like, no, I was running from that. And cue the giant prowler stampede. Gibraltar then domes over Loba and Bangalore. Logically, it doesn't quite make sense to me, like lore-wise, because I'm pretty sure that anything can just walk through Gibraltar's dome. I was under the impression that the only thing his dome protected you from was pew-pew fire, not keeping beings out of the dome. Maybe he's got a special prowler-proof dome. Has anybody landed and fought the prowlers in World's Edge and domed as Gibby to see if the prowlers could get through the dome? Now I'm really curious. Now I feel like maybe I need to go jump in World's Edge and see if you can dome if the prowlers... Anywho, I digress again. So the dude that stole Bangalore's brother's jacket, he will now be known as Jacket Dude, gets stuck outside of the bubble, and a prowler kind of takes a little nom-noms on his arm. Gibraltar's like, oh no, like he feels bad, because we all know Gibby is like a wholesome good guy, almost like Pathfinder, like they're just good dudes. Loba says, you know, it's okay, you can't save everyone. While Bangalore just kind of shrugs the whole thing off, taking the jacket now off of the no longer with us guy, stating, I thought he was my brother, you know, he's been missing for a really long time. Now, in the next panel, we see a trident with pew-pews attached to it. How cool would that be in season 11 if we got tridents with pew-pews already attached to them? How great would that be? Like, oh, that'd be fun. Anywho, Bangalore's ready to take them out, and Loba's just like, please, can we just, like, go? And the trident is, like, yelling at them, and they're like, hey, that guy was with us. Like, what are you doing? And, you know, they get the pew-pews aimed at Bangalore and Gibby and Loba, and, yeah, they're just trying to get out of there now. Like, Bangalore's like, she's ready to take them on, but Loba and Gibby are like, yeah, no, we're good. We already fought earlier. We're good. We're gonna leave now. Bangalore throws a smoke grenade, and while the trident attempts to pew them, they're like, all right, guys, we're gonna turn our thermals on. They run into a building because they've got the sights of a stormtrooper. We see, like, the light kind of, like, I guess what would resemble a blinking light in the next panel. And then we switch over to Loba, Bangalore, and Gibby, with Bangalore commenting that that trident just took out the entire grid. So now we know what caused the power outage from the end of the second comic, when they were about to go operate on Lifeline and we didn't know why power went out. Yeah, it's not Bangalore's fault. It's Loba's fault. It's Loba's fault. She wanted to run. They wouldn't have hit that grid if Loba hadn't wanted to get out of there so bad. Bangalore's like, all right, you know what? We just need to get out of here. Let's just go to the hospital. And Gibraltar's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm just going to rub some mud on it later and I'll be good. And Bangalore's like, not for you. I want to go see and try to find my brother. Which, I mean, that makes sense. But also, I love how Gibby's like, I'm just going to rub some mud on it and I'll be good. As they are walking away, the last panel is super strange. And this is actually it here. I took a picture of it. And the reason why I've kind of made my own panels for all of the videos is A, I'm really low-key worried about copyright strikes, and B, I just, you know, I like putting a little time and effort in my videos. But this, I did not know how to describe this. This is the only way so here's what this is. It kind of looks like Lifeline and Doc, except for that wouldn't make sense because logically they should be in the hospital. Well, we don't know where Doc is, or Pathy Doc. And Lifeline should be in the hospital getting ready for surgery at this point, or in surgery, because they've lost power. I have no idea what this is. It kind of looks like they're holding something. I can't figure out what this is. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below. I was really kind of, this image kind of made me scratch my head a bit as well. I was a little confused. And now we get to the hospital. Wattson and Rampart are kind of like standing off to the side, and Wattson kind of makes the comment like, hey, look at this, Legend's coming through, because, you know, she's cute like that. And then Bangalore and Gibraltar come up to them, and Bangalore comments, "You look like you're hiding," and Wattson replies, "Well, you look like you're seeking." Octane comes up to them, and Gibraltar asks him, like, "Hey, what's going on?" Octane then lets it all out. I genuinely, like, I feel for Octane in this section, because you can just tell, like, he's got so much on his plate right now, and Octane is not meant for the serious stuff. He is crazy. He blew his own legs off for funsies, basically. Like, he's not meant for any of the seriousness of any situation. He just lets them all know Shay's in surgery, we're in the middle of a blackout, Bloodhound is looking for Pathy, who's stuck in Doc's body, you're playing hide and seek, and I'm pretty sure Prowlers are rising up and taking over the whole city. Did I miss anything? Like, he's had it. This is way too much for poor Octane. Oh my goodness. Bloodhound then comes up stating that they were able to find Pathfinder's, like, body, except they still don't know where Doc Pathy is. And also, Bloodhound makes the comment that they sense destruction in the wind. Now there is like a whoo at the bottom of this panel. We see the legends all kind of like standing together in the hospital, and they're all kind of like looking in like different directions up. Gibraltar makes the comment like, "Hey, what's that weird sound?" Octane says, "Oh no, amigos." There's like a static speech bubble saying landing zone ship incoming, and Wattson yells incoming. We see the dropship come in, and then we see a crash, and we see all of the legends flying everywhere. And then you just see like smoking ruins, no people, nothing, it's just smoking ruins. So yeah, y'all, that is the end of the third comic. There was a lot of stuff that I feel very strongly about, that I'm really bummed, that I wish that they maybe would have reviewed it a little bit more, done a little bit more editing, but that's just me personally. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Who do you think that mysterious figure was? What do you think about all this? Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all so much again for checking out the video. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button, turn those notifications way on, and I will see y'all next time. Go team!